let's try the Mediterranean diet. Hi friends, thank you so much for joining me. I thought this week we will try the Mediterranean diet. I told you I was researching some diets, and one of the ones that I've always kind of been curious about is the Mediterranean diet. It seems very healthy, heart healthy, focuses in on, plant-based diet primarily, but it's not, vegan or vegetarian where you're not allowed any kind of meats. I heard once back in the 90s, and it was a weight loss guru from back then, and she said, just ask yourself, did it grow that way? And she said, boom, you're a nutritionist. Now, I don't believe that to be true, but it was kind of funny and it was a good point. Did it grow that way? And I've kind of tried to eat that way most of my life. I try and eat more things that grew that way than that didn't. But I feel like the Mediterranean diet really hones in on that. The only things I think that are probably processed at all is going to be olive oil. Everything else is pretty much, it grew that way. Your whole grains obviously are processed to a point too, and it is whole grain heavy. I think the true Mediterranean diet, they were actually, like probably gnawing on actual wheat and things like that. But I think bulgur and all, there's a lot of things like that that are on it that I don't have right now in the house. So there'll be things, if I like this and I actually decide to stay on it, that I'll be buying and adding to it. But right now I'm just going to do it with the things I already have in my house, which won't be too hard because, like I said, a lot of times I try and focus on, did it grow that way? So hopefully this will be pretty easy. For breakfast today, and probably all week, I'm going to be doing my oatmeal. Most of the time when I do my oatmeal, I like to do a tablespoon of almond butter and some blueberries on the top, which would 100% work with the Mediterranean diet too. So I'll probably do that some of the days just to kind of switch it up. Today I'm going to do half a cup of oatmeal, and I'll show you that. And then I have this omega-3 deluxe mix, and there's one thing in here that I don't know if it's legal on the Mediterranean diet, and that's cranberries, because I don't know that dried fruit is, acceptable on it, but it's in this mix and I'm gonna eat it. So it has a blend of almonds, pecans, walnuts, cranberries, pistachios, and pepitas. So I've bought this for years. For a quarter cup, it's 170 calories. So you do have to really make sure you're being careful on the portion size. I'll show you this little teeny tiny thing. I don't go by quarter cup, I go by weight on this one. It is 34 grams, so I weigh that out, and you'll see it's not very much, but it does pack a punch, and it gives it a lot of flavor and some crunch, and it's really good. So that's what I'll have for breakfast. I'm drinking black coffee. This is going to be the hard part because my protein that I like every day didn't grow that way. So I feel like and they didn't have it in the Mediterranean back in the day. I haven't checked to see how many added sugars are in it, because dairy is allowed. Protein is obviously fine. But there's going to be there's chemicals in those, and that isn't on the Mediterranean diet. So I'm going to try and not have it. I did brew some really good coffee. This is Kona coffee. So I thought, if I just kind of make quality coffee that tastes good, that'll be easier. And I'm doing fine with it. So, it's black coffee for me this morning. So I'm gonna go ahead and get going on the oatmeal. Just in one of my big containers, shocker. And this little half cup lives in there. This is not what the food people would tell you to do. It's not food safe to leave the measure in there because you touch the measure and then it touches the food. I'm the only one that eats this, and I always wash my hands before I cook, so I'm not worried about it. But if you actually are, if you were in a restaurant or something, you would never do that. So anyway, have a cup in the bowl. And then I just add water until it's a little bit covering all of the oatmeal. And then I pop it in the microwave for about a minute. I just make sure it all absorbs. And you'll notice I'm using a giant bowl, especially for how much is in there. The bowl's here, and the oatmeal's way down here. And that's because when you put it in the microwave, it will bubble up. So don't put it in like a shallow, if you've never done it that way, don't put it in like a shallow bowl, because you'll have a giant microwave mess. And trust me, I've had to clean that up several times, and it's terrible. So use a high-sided bowl, even though it will look a little bit sad because it's not full. Trust me, you'll be glad you did. So I'm gonna add water to this. And actually I added a little too much water, which happens, so it's okay. So if you do that, I'm just gonna put this in for like 1:20 instead. It's gonna soak it up. It just gets that much bigger and that much bulkier, which is actually kind of nice. So I'm gonna pop that in the microwave. I left that in the microwave for 1 minute and 40 seconds, which was perfect. So it's going to be extremely, extremely hot. Please don't touch the bowl. I have these, they're called bowl koozies that I made because I also sew and quilt and do all the things. So I made these, you can buy them. But I highly recommend having these because when you go to pull something out of the microwave that's really, really hot, this is in a bowl shape already. The bowl goes right in here. I'll show you. It works great. So protect your hands and get one of these. So you can see, look at how much, I'll show you from the side, see how much it puffed up. So when you do that, even if you add a little more water and just cook it longer, sorry for the noise there, it'll actually, you know, it winds up being more food and it just feels more filling. So I like to stir that around real quick. And then I'm just gonna dump on my omega-3s and I'll show you what it looks like. And there you have it. So it does wind up, you know, it covers the whole top so you get a little bit of crunch and a little something extra. I'm going to see if I can touch this just so you can see it better. Ooh, that bowl is warm. So that's what it looks like. So that's going to be my breakfast. I'm going to finish up my coffee. I haven't had any water yet today, which I should have drank some before I even started with the coffee and the breakfast, but that's okay. So this was my, you know, same container, 22 ounces that I've been using. So I'm trying to, again, stay away from anything chemically at all. So I'm going to see if I can still get in as much water as I was before by just adding lemon to it. I should be able to. I always like lemon water. I get some seeds out of this one. I always like, you know, lemon water, and anytime I go anywhere, like, you know, you go to different, you know, spas and things, and they have, I don't know why I said it like that, but they always have, you know, like mint water and cucumber water and all the waters. And I always think, why don't I do this at home? Because it's so refreshing. But I don't know, when I do it at home, I don't enjoy it as much. So I think it really does have to do with being at a spa and, you know, the environment. But lemon water I do love. So at any rate, so I'm going to try and get that down as quickly as I can because by the time lunch rolls around, I want to make sure I'm working on my second one. And, you know, I don't want to get behind on my water because then drinking a whole bunch of water right before bed, we all know results in a night of not sleeping well. So, so I'm going to go ahead and eat my breakfast, and I'm just going to take you along with me throughout my day and just kind of give it a shot and see how it goes. So I'll see you back in a little bit. Okay, so it's time for some lunch. I thought I had Ezekiel bread in the freezer, but I didn't. So what I did have were these sandwich thins. They're the 9-grain flax and fiber. So I was like, okay, that's at least got some, you know, some whole grains in it and things like that. So I'm just going to use those up because I have them. But if you were to actually go buy some things, I would do, you know, some kind of whole wheat, grainy, seedy type bread. That's really what you're after. On top of that, I'm going to add some of this Saba roasted garlic hummus. You know, this is my favorite. So I'm going to do 2 tablespoons on top, and I'm literally just going to measure it out in a little tablespoon. I usually do this by weight, but I don't feel like it, so I'm not. All right, let me get that on and spread around real quick. So I'm just doing a tablespoon on each half. I'm kind of doing like an open face sandwich, basically. And I'm not adding any kind of meat, which is different. I'm one of those people, I kind of meal plan around the protein, around the meat, instead of, you know, meal planning around the vegetables and the whole grains and things like that. So it is going to be kind of a shift of thinking, which is going to probably be really good for me. All right, so I'm just spreading that on the top. So it looks like that. And then I'm just going to add a slice of tomato because I have kind of a pretty large tomato slices here. So I'm just going to add those onto the top. In fact, I'm probably even going to do another one here, or maybe another little half a one. Let me cut that real quick. And this is just, it's a Roma tomato, but actually it's quite large, so if I don't make a mess. All right, let me get that on top. Perfect. All right, and that's gonna be my lunch. So just pretty simple, simple ingredients. If you wanted to, you could obviously make your hummus homemade. If I had a little more time, I probably would do that. Maybe, you know, in prep to next week, maybe I'll try that. But, you know, plus I also already had this, so I still want to be smart and use up what I already have, because if you watched any of my videos, you know I don't like wasting food. Can you hear that helicopter? I have all the windows and doors open because it is gorgeous out. It's actually not sunny, it's overcast, but I live in snow country and today is like almost 70 degrees, so all the doors, windows, everything's open. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and sit down and enjoy this. Keep working on my water because I haven't finished that first one yet. So I really need to get going on my water, and we'll see. I don't know how long this will stick with me, but we'll see. Give it a shot. It is dinner time. So I'm kind of making this up as I go along. Hopefully it'll be good. What I have here is a half a cup of quinoa, and this is the tricolor quinoa. So there's red quinoa, I think it's black quinoa, and just normal white quinoa. So this is a half a cup, and so I'm just using this bowl to kind of mix it up. I'm going to add to that, I have 5 Kalamata olives here, and I have 1 serving, which is 14 grams, I can remember the exact, of sun-dried tomatoes. So I'm going to mix both of these into the quinoa. I'm considering putting feta cheese in it too. And I think I'm leaning towards doing it because I didn't have a snack today. My day just sort of got away from me. I probably would have, but I just was really busy. So I'm actually very hungry right now. So, but that lunch did fill me up more than I thought it would. So I may add a little feta cheese. We'll see. These little sun-dried, I just kind of want to make them, these are always tough to cut into, but I just want to make them just a little bit, I don't know, a little more diced, a little more bite size. And so that the flavors kind of get all the way through that quinoa. These are the ones that I like. They're the ready to eat. They're sun-dried, but they're a little bit soft. Like I had some sun-dried tomatoes that I bought at the store that were like hard. I don't know if they were just like super old and I shouldn't have bought them in the first place, but I always like to make sure that the side, like I kind of squeeze the side and make sure that they're not hard, that they're, you know, they're still soft. I don't get the ones that are in any kind of oil because I don't know what that oil is. I mean, it's probably olive oil, but I can't be sure. So, and I don't, you know, I don't want any kind of like hidden sugar or anything in there. And that's even before doing this diet. That's just normally what I do. So I'm going to mix that together. And I think I'm going to go for it. I think I'm going to throw some feta in here too. The other thing I have for dinner is, this is some leftover sad looking asparagus. Please don't judge me. It's been heated and reheated. And it was doused in, this is not just olive oil, but it's olive oil and like lemon juice and stuff. So that was from the other night. So I'm going to eat that. And it's sad looking because it's been sitting in all that liquid. It was in too much liquid, but that's okay. It'll still taste good. And then in the oven right now, I have a bunch of mixed veggies that are roasting up. So I'm going to fill most of my plate with the roasted veggies. Incidentally, I should have shown you this plate before I started putting stuff on it. Also, I'm not following it the way it's supposed to be, but that's okay. This is an old Weight Watchers plate, like from, I don't even know when. And what this was designed to do, your meat here, your carbs here, and your vegetables here in the big section. So it was just sort of a way to kind of divide up your plate a little bit better so that you know, just ate more veggies. So I always thought it was cool. I actually just sort of liked it because it's a little bit smaller plate than my dinner plates are, and I just sort of like the design. So I've had those for years and years and years. Anyway, let me put this away and I'm gonna grab the feta cheese. I weighed out 28 grams of feta cheese, which is a serving size. So that was, I believe, 70 calories. Let me check. Yeah, 70 calories. Seems like a lot, doesn't it? Get that on my plate. Put that stuff away. Keep working on your water. Those veggies are fresh out of the oven. As you can tell, they're steaming hot. This is how I like them, where they have a little bit of char on the top. So this is just the Normandy blend from Costco, and I just drizzled it with olive oil. You can tell my bag is literally probably 75% broccoli and cauliflower, and I have almost no squash and carrots in this bag. It's so weird. I mean, it's fine. I actually really like those two, so it's okay with me, but I don't know if they're having a harder time getting squash and carrots this time of year or something. I don't know. But yeah, my bag is definitely not a normal mix that I've gotten before, but that's fine. So I'm gonna load up on the veggies. And I can see where on this diet it can be very freeing, because if I wasn't actually actively trying to lose weight, I could see where my counter's clean, so I'm eating that. I could see where it would really be freeing to be able to just kind of eat as much as you want until you're full and not have to, like, you know, the only thing I probably didn't measure was that drizzle olive oil, but I know it's next to nothing. I'll count it as like a teaspoon of olive oil. But I counted the olive oil and everything, and counted, you know, how many calamine olives I did. I weighed, you know, everything, obviously. But I could see where, you know, if I was at goal, this would be an easy way to, you know, if it works, I could maintain my weight and not have to do that, because you're filling up so much on, you know, veggies and, you know, fruits and berries and all the good things, that I could see you not having to worry as much about calories, you know, if you were just trying to maintain your weight. So I don't know, it just kind of seems that that's a kind of a freeing thought, I guess. So we'll see how it goes this week and how much I miss my sweets, because that's going to be my downfall, of course. For dessert, I'm planning on either doing an apple with some nuts, or just maybe some strawberries. I have some strawberries in there too, so I might just cut up some strawberries. We'll see. I'll insert a picture with what I decide to do for dessert, but I'm going to sit down and enjoy this scrumptious meal. And I have one more idea, actually. I'm going to do it because I didn't have, you know, my snack or anything. I know I'm really low in calories. So what I have in here, I made bean burgers the other night just for me, because my family hates them. But I didn't add anything to them. I just literally smashed the black beans and just fried them up in the pan with the olive oil spray. So there's nothing in these. There's no, you know, panko breadcrumbs, none of that's in it. So I think I'm going to heat this up and weigh it, and add that to the top, at least maybe probably about half of it is what I'm thinking, just to add some, because you can do lots of beans and legumes on this plan too. So I think I'm going to do that just to up my protein a little bit, because it does feel weird to not have a meat-centric meal. But yeah, so I think I'm going to add about half of this to it, and like I said, I'll weigh it out and see what it is. So I took about half of that, which was 46 grams. And see, it's really crumbly because literally there's no binder in this at all. It was just literally, you know, pan fried. So I'm just gonna put that. I wish I'd have mixed it in with that, but that's okay. We'll just, ooh, I'm gonna throw it all over the table. We'll just kind of add a little line of it here for, so it's kind of turning into like a salad. I told you I was making this up as I went along. So it's kind of turning into like a weird veggie salad, but that's okay. And now I have like a weird hole here, so we're gonna, there we go. That looks prettier, right? My food is never pretty for the camera. I'm very sorry about that, but it always tastes good. So, okay, and that is dinner. Looks good. I'll let you know how it turns out, and I'll insert a picture too and let you know what I decide to do for dessert. Okay, guys, that dinner was really, really good. I went ahead and, you know, took a shower, did some things, and I am starving. So what I have for dessert is under here I have a half a cup of Greek yogurt drizzled with honey and this balsamic glaze. I've shown this, there we go, sorry. I've shown this before, and I actually found it at Costco, so that's probably where I bought it, because I think the last time I showed it, I didn't know where I got it from. So for 5 milliliters, it's just 20 calories, so that one's not terrible. And I have a half a teaspoon of honey on there. I think I mentioned that, but just in case I didn't. So so that's going to be my dessert tonight. And yeah, it was a good day of eating. I hope, hopefully tomorrow goes just as well. I wasn't overly hungry today in general, so it's sort of hard to know, you know, on a hungry day if this would have filled me up, because, you know, without having as much protein as I'm used to, I think that's probably when I'm really hungry right now, but you know, we'll see how it goes. I do like all the food, so, you know, that's a plus. And then, you know, I feel good, so there you go. So hopefully it will continue and I will, both feel good and also hopefully drop some weight. It's time for a progress update. So if you remember, January I had a pretty good month. February I maintained in the end, so I kind of was up and down, but wound up maintaining. And then March, as you'll see, I maintained again. So a little bit bummed, but not as disappointed, I don't think, as I was last month. I had an awful lot go on in March. Tons and tons of holidays. We took a week's vacation where we didn't worry about what we ate. So I'm actually kind of happy I didn't gain overall in the month. And I'm really, really excited about this next week and trying out the Mediterranean diet and, some of the things that I have planned. So I'm actually kind of reinvigorated and excited to keep going. So, had you asked me, hey, at the end of March, where would you want to be? I'm not there, but I haven't given up either. And there's a lot to be said for that. So my knee is still super messed up. I tried to do a few things and it let me know that it did not find me funny and it's not ready to do anything yet. So I have it, I put some tape on it and just to try and kind of stabilize it a little bit. I don't really want to have to go in. Hopefully it just heals and I can move on, but I do need to give it a little time to heal. So I am not going to be even worrying about my step goal for this week. My goal is going to stay the same, but I'm not going to push my knee at this point. So, I'm just going to kind of make sure I focus on, the food and the water and, and staying motivated and staying excited. That's kind of my goals for probably the next, I would say at least 2 weeks probably. But we'll see, we'll play it by ear. But yeah, I'm really excited to try the Mediterranean diet. It's something I always kind of, looked into off and on, but I'd never really done as much research as I did this time. And so I'm really excited for it. I actually am one of those people who loves vegetables. So I think it's probably going to be a good fit for me. And it's going to help me hopefully curb my sugar cravings, because that's really, I feel like, where I fall apart. I actually eat pretty healthy just naturally. I like healthy foods, but I also love my sugar. So I'm hoping this will kind of help me, curb some of that and, and not just end some of the cravings for me. So anyway, that is all I have for you today. So thank you so much for joining me. If you like this video, be sure and give it a thumbs up, click subscribe, and click that bell for notifications so you're notified each and every time I upload. And I wish you guys the best, most successful week. And as always, leave any comments down below and be sure to encourage each other as well. And we'll see you next time. Bye, guys. Coffee break. I almost said olives. There's my dog. Okay, that should be at the beginning. All right, by the come on, what's my problem?